the Colosseum. Yes, I will try to do this as fast as possible. As fast as possible, and be on my way. It's 20 minutes to go around it, which I don't have. And let me try to walk up here and see what I find up here. Let me see how they got down there. Alright, there is a staircase here. Let me ask if it's... Oh my gracious me, this is the best angle of it. Wow, spectacular. Colosseum at night. Right hand, and use the right hand to do the videoing. Okay, we'll leave it as 1x because the 0.5x doesn't do it any justice because it is night time and you can barely see anything.
Lions, hundreds of lions, people pulling ropes. The police were in the police. And no spectators or gladiators had any idea of what to expect. Do you speak Spanish, un poquito? Arena, the original meaning of arena. Arena is the Latin and Spanish for sand. So the wooden floor, the wooden stage floor, would cover the basement, and on top of it there was a thick layer of sand. What sand was used for? What do you think? Time for your now videos, Instagram stories, selfies.
Huh? 1 second.
Behavior 1 century later. And at the entrance of Nero's Golden House, okay, can you read from here? Look at the arches on this level, on the left. These arches in brickwork are not original, as you can see. They were rebuilt just 2 centuries ago to reinforce the collapsed site destroyed by earthquakes. And look at the arches in travertine. And so, any questions?
That's brilliant.
Grazie.
Thank you very much.
Grazie. I hope you liked the tour.
Yeah, it was
Grazie
excellent.
mille.
Well
Just
done.
remember something very, very important.
Review?
Reviews, of course. And no, something. Grazie mille. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Take care.
Thank you. Bye bye. Yeah, bye bye. Thank you.
Les filles?
Sorry.
Samsung. Samsung.
Non, lui il en a 4. Excuse me, that's possible to airdrop the video because you have a good quality. Airdrop.
This is probably 2 hours of videos,
C'est
or probably 4 hours. I mean, it's been broken down since morning.
En gros, c'est plusieurs coupures de vidéo.
Yeah, so I mean, if I airdrop it,
Ça va prendre du temps, it will take time.
Ah, ok.
It's okay, it's okay.
so I can stop it and do a new one and then airdrop it
Non, dis non, c'est bon.
to you.
It's okay.
No.
The rest.
All right? Yeah, I mean, I can do that, but if not, it will be quite heavy. You probably have the same model, right? Ah, okay.
Hein? Qu'est-ce qu'il y a?
Ah,
Vous voulez faire un truc avec du
no
Daniel?
worries. Yeah.
It was huge, twice as high. The entrance was by the sacred way, and 2/3 of this giant basilica got destroyed by the same earthquake 700 years ago that destroyed the Colosseum. The meaning changed after Constantine legalized Christianity. So the first Christian architects, they modeled the first basilica after these pagan buildings because they needed large buildings for large gatherings of people.
This was a very expensive car. It was a Grand Wagon. So they delivered it to me. I went to the broker. The guy showed me the car because there's a lot of screens and everything.
Piace, non l'hai vista? Oh, brand new opening. We are inside an underground rocky fountain, a Renaissance replica of an ancient Roman nymphaeum. After the name of Davis of water, the natives. This is a Renaissance replica of beautiful fountains. Can you feel the different temperature here?
Yeah, it's cooler.
In the hot summer days, this was a real relief from heat. And imagine here the paper court entertained by musicians, outdoor theater performances. This was a real pleasure, a real delight. 2 miles away from the Apostolic Palaces in the Vatican.
Why is it cold? What's the science behind?
Sorry?
Why is it so cold? What's the science behind it being so cool? So cold, like the temperature is
Yes,
cooler than.
because I mean it was a kind of air-conditioned area
Ah, okay.
where I mean in hot summer days, someone could get some could be cooled off. And because we are on the ground, basically, we are in the underground section. You see the ancient Roman ruins there.
Yeah.
That belong to Tiberius. So the problem is that the architect reused the ruins of the city of Tiberius' house to support the Renaissance period. So this area would have been originally underground.
Ah, okay.
The temperature is cooler.
It's cooler, yeah, as you go. Yeah.
And the most beautiful statues from the are not here actually from the Farnese collection archaeological museum in Naples, because the last princes of this family, the Farnese family, is extinct, doesn't exist anymore in this dynasty, should marry the Bourbon kings in Naples. So the collection moved there. But it is a beautiful Renaissance example of an inferno.
The symbol, the flower represents
Thank you. The further hill symbolizes the coat of arms of the Farnese family, or the kings of France, and the city of Florence. The view of the Basilica of Maxentius is spectacular, and you can imagine that it was entirely covered in marble, inlaid marble. So, let me show you the inside. So imagine the basilica like that. Just to get the sense of the proportions of the scale, imagine that the giant statue of Constantine that was inside the apse on the left hand side is now in the Capitol Museum, was huge. So imagine this statue inside the basilica on the left. Hello.
Ci sei andata?
And now, like in a time machine, we are back and forth in time. We are back to the 1st century before Christ. These part of these tombs are original, part are restored. And we are in the middle of the Via Nova, the new street. So called because it was rebuilt after the Great Fire of Rome 64. This area was covered. Imagine we are inside the commercial center of Rome. These ruins are the ruins of stores. The Latin for store is taberna. The difference is that usually the shopkeeper family lived on the second floor. So this was not only commercial center but was a district. And imagine that it was on 3 different levels, and the villa that belonged to the Emperor Tiberius was on top. So the Emperor rented these areas to traders, to workers. So the palace was on top, but the palace, you see, just the substance.
We zag nou hier aan voorbij, net.
Okay, here you see the road, the original road. The cobblestones. Can you recognize this type of rock? That this is basalt, volcanic stone. The English street, the German Strasse, Italian strada, comes from the Latin stratum, strata, different layers. See? Strata, layers, street. So imagine the way the Romans built this system of roads. And most of the roads in this area are still preserved.
Okay.
Creating two pedestrian streets, one along the slopes of the Palatine Hill, one in the middle of the Forum Valley.
Sono le 2 3 minuti.
Ah, grazie. Devo brillare. So, from here you see, you can understand the way the Tiberius Palace was supported by 3 superimposed giant underground galleries. Okay, the villa was by the terrace where you see the people up there, and from here you have a wonderful view instead. Bottom square on the left, 2 beautiful temples in front of you. One is round. On the right, the Temple of Romulus, on the left, the Temple of Antoninus Pius. And down here, the most important house, the house of the Vestal Virgins. So now, let's talk about women in ancient Rome. To be a woman, honestly, was not so nice, right? I feel very fortunate, lucky to be born 2,000 years later here in Rome. Girls, women and slaves had no rights. I mean, they were the lowest of the law in the Roman society. The king's vote, the Old Testament, and the riches. The Vestal Virgins were different. Women, highly regarded as living goddesses. Basically, they were priestesses. Married at the end of their religious career. They were selected at the age of 6. They remained virgin for 13 years, and they devoted themselves to the goddess Vesta. Vesta was the virgin goddess of the sacred fire, of the home, of the earth, and the temple of Vesta was by their house on the left. At the corner you see like a marble structure. That was the temple of Vesta. These were the rooms where they lived, all around the cloister. The regular statues of the Vestal Virgins all around, and the beautiful colonnade. So, to be a Vestal Virgin was an honor, a privilege, and a tragedy at the same time. They had rights, they had power. They sat by the emperor in the Colosseum, for instance. But if they let the fire out, imagine, 2,000 years ago, keeping the fire with no gas or lighters was not so easy, especially in winter. They were punished. Their duty was to keep the fire going. The Vestal Virgins kept the sacred fire going for 1,150 years, which is why we call Rome the Eternal City. The eternal flame was the symbol of the eternity of Rome. And so if the fire went out, they were punished. They were whipped in the Forum Square. And if they had a relation, the punishment was horrible. They died on the Palatine Hill. They were buried alive. So,
After 30 years?
after 30 years of virginity and beauty, they could marry if they wished. Okay, good.
And the heads of
Yes, yes, actually, heads of statues are the most fragile part. Imagine a Gothic walls, for instance, head of statue from the mausoleum of Trajan, the tomb of Trajan. Imagine were used as a balance for the balusters and catapults. And then, of course, the head was the most variable part of a statue. Usually, somebody they ended up with that. Sixth time in history,
what was the cruelest emperor?
Oh, it depends. I think probably Romulus. Pomodoro, arugula, caligula, everything. I mean, pomodoro had a famous apartment for the set. So the first Spanish Vestal Virgin was Silvia, mother of Romulus and Remus. So the history of Rome starts with the punishment of a Vestal Virgin. The good thing means Romulus and Remus were killed by the river, and because they were the sons of a Vestal Virgin. Their father was not killed because he was a god, Ares, the god of war. And Mars. So basically, the founder of Rome is a demigod. And the legend goes that the two twin babies were suckled, nursed by the wolf, the she-wolf, the lupa, the official version. Unofficial version, lupa in Latin also means prostitute. So we don't know who raised the babies. Let's say the official version. And where? Here, right here. And now here you see something faster. This is a brand new opening after lockdown, pandemic.
Ah, okay.
This was the back entrance of the Caesar Palace. So we walked through the underground service entrance of the palace was redesigned by Dominion. Here. The floor is a original Palatine floor. After the technique is called the it looks like there is sky sort of having more power. Imagine I like to compare the palace to a cruise ship. Living quarters are soft, and underground the service area. In the 5th century, the church was founded here beside the ruin.
The wall covered with herringbone.
So who live in the underground? In the lower sections, of course, the guards, the slaves, or the summer apartments, or the summer dining rooms, even inside and school. The entrance was right here.
Then the Romans, then have the whatever. And then
Turn into the chapel in oratory, Christian temple. In ancient times, turned into a sacred fountain dedicated to the deity of the water Juturna.
C'est quoi ce nom?
Vas-y, c'est bon, je sais. Je l'ai.
And then the largest town in the world after. Ancient Rome was in London in 1802. So here you can see very well the temple of Vesta. The temple of Vesta, the outside, most of it is here, basically. Only the little fragments in marble. It is a fake, actually. And there you see the beautiful temple dedicated to the Emperor Antoninus Pius and his wife. What does diva mean? Diva is the female for divine. The Romans believed that their emperors, their wives, were living gods and goddesses. So as they passed away, they were declared gods and temples were built in their honor.
Certo.
Finally, we are in the Forum Square. Now, you need to distinguish what is the Forum today, what was the Forum back then. Today, the Forum is the name of the archaeological park. I mean, all this extension of ruins. In ancient times, the Forum was just this little grassy area, the central square of Rome, born as a marketplace. Okay? It was the most important area because it was surrounded by the most important buildings. The Romans 2,000 years ago had no cars. And no media. So of course the most important public buildings were in a walking